his own basic advice. Mayweather alleges that Jonah caused him to sell his Gulfstream jet to an unknown buyer for an unknown amount. He also claims that Jonah diverted $15 million in funds related to an investment in SL Green. Now, it is totally possible that Jonah is guilty of these accusations. Mayweather could easily have someone on his team executing shady business deals or straight up stealing from him. But while Mayweather is trying to get $175 million from Jonah, another company he allegedly defrauded is suing him for double that amount. In 2025, a promotion company called CSI Sports sued him. The lawsuit claims they agreed to pay Mayweather $14 million to fight Mike Tyson, including a $2 million advance. They also allege to get the exclusive rights to the fight after Mike Tyson, which would be with Manny Pacquiao. Geriatric boxing cash grabs. CSI claims Mayweather entered into an agreement in December with another company, Ever Wonder, for $24.75 million, including a $2.75 million advance and the potential for a $3.75 million bonus. Once again, another business deal where Mayweather gets some cash up front, but then there's disputes over who owns what rights, who's owed money, and what promises were actually made. This paints the picture of a businessman who repeatedly operates.
Floyd's lawyers gotta be billionaires, bro, because he be in court getting sued 24/7, man. Who's advising him to make all these decisions? It's like, if you're struggling for money and you try to hold on to whatever you have left, I get that. But like, when you have this much money, there's no way you need 5% more, 10% more. It's not even worth the quality of life change if you have it. Like, this sucks, man. Is he not here? I mean, he still has, but he had so much money.
In legal gray areas that almost always end up in court, but now his debts are higher than ever. He is still facing felony charges for writing the bad checks. He was ordered to pay $1 million back in child support payments, and he also has a $7.2 million IRS lien against him for unpaid taxes. And all of this has resulted in Floyd seemingly scrambling for money wherever he can. While many media outlets are quick to call him broke, I think that's a bit of an oversimplification. It appears that Floyd has engaged in too many unethical business practices or straight up pissed off way too many people, and they just aren't putting up with it anymore, which is why he's trapped in like a million lawsuits right now. We have a strong reason to believe, considering his tax attorney literally admitted to it, that he just stalls on paying off debts for as long as possible. But nobody feels.
Why would his tax attorney even say that? Because if the IRS is... Yo, bro. I'm so confused.
Was bad for the IRS, and it's not much of a blow to his reputation. However, who's to say that Floyd doesn't apply this same exact strategy to jewelers, franchise owners, opposing boxers, boxing promoters, business partners? Well, because intentionally misleading people or not paying people on purpose after an agreement was made would be considered fraud. And of course, Floyd Mayweather Jr. would never do that. The pattern is impossible to unsee. Whenever business deals go right, Floyd boasts about it to tout his supposed genius-level business intellect. But when business deals go wrong, he didn't know, it wasn't his intention, or it was somebody else's fault, followed by lawsuits. Because at the ripe age of 49, he's just too old or too untrustworthy to put together a fight for another multi-million-dollar payday and get himself out of debt. And if Floyd was even 10% as successful as he claims he is, he would not need to get back in the ring. The only logical explanation for him getting back inside the ropes would be that he isn't the successful businessman he claims to be. And if the rise and fall of legendary fighters is your thing, check out this video I made about Conor McGregor.
Yo, when you put it all in one video, it sounds crazy. I just see last week when it broke. I didn't know how true it is. And really none of my business. I have a pocket watch, but I'm not gonna. W video, Patrick. W video. Holy smokes, man. That guy's been through a lot.
When I cycle and I find whatever my journey of my inner critic, I just get lost in this creative space. I am anti-defender. I'm always experimenting. Afflicted. Little spiders will make it through.
they have to give this disclaimer for the video. That is crazy. This is an HCC video. The video is titled "The Evil Side of Reality TV."
Reality shows aren't exactly real, but to dismiss the shows and just say, oh, it's all scripted, it's all fake, that's not exactly true either. You see, shows operate more like human science experiments than scripted entertainment. Producers aren't necessarily telling contestants what to do, what to say, and how to act, but going through a series of calculated behind-the-scenes steps to control the environment and nearly guarantee chaos on camera. Unfortunately, because these tactics are designed to push people past their breaking point, there have been countless cases where contestants' lives were tragically cut short, with many pointing to the mental and emotional toll these shows have had on them. Today we are going to uncover the step-by-step process reality shows use to psychologically manipulate their contestants into getting the entertainment that they want, and all the ways it has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it above with you, bro. This, to me, feels like they know is going into it, right? Now, 20 years ago, maybe it was something of a secret, but at this point, if you're signing up for reality TV, bro, you understand they could make you look like a villain, they could lie about how things happen, they could cut out important details and context, and you sign an NDA, you can't say or do shit. You are accepting the terms, but you're accepting the terms because you stay on the show, want the attention, right? That is the trade-off. That is the trade-off. And I don't think anybody thinks these reality TV shows are acting ethically. I think they're all.
Even though reality shows can have vastly different premises, most of them follow a similar structure. Bring a group of strangers together, isolate them from the outside world, and then put them through some kind of challenge with real stakes on the line. And whether the final prize is money or love, the production process for maximizing the entertainment value of these shows is mostly the same. It relies on morally unethical behavior. Before the cameras turn on, reality shows have an extremely calculated casting process. The first step for getting on many reality shows is a lengthy application. And
Yo, one time I did apply for Big Brother Canada. I did not make it past the first stage.
we're not talking a job application. Shows like Big Brother require IQ and psychological evaluations to ensure contestants will be able to perform under pressure. Survivor is similar. The production goes through 25,000 initial applicants, complete with background and psychological screenings before they're even considered for a callback. One of the reasons why this process takes so long is because producers aren't just looking for good contestants, they're looking for specific characters. Every person on the show has to fit a very specific role. You might have the hero, the villain, the underdog, the heartbreaker, the loudmouth, the wild card. It's like casting for a movie, except the script hasn't been written yet. And usually the most successful shows are when everyone plays their role perfectly. Like in Jersey Shore, Ronnie was the hothead who wanted to start fights.
I hope you would return.
What is the matter with these poor souls?
We got a awful fix. Like, I forgot what's it called.
It is a curse, but
It's a big television company.
only a medicine drawn from a rare
They
fungi
kept referencing
seed.
the
How can I help?
Kardashians in Jersey Shore.
Fungi
He said, no,
fix it.
that is your
Like
reference.
the little says, dangerous, high or low, when none they trade. The fungi grow.
You know what I'm saying? But they flex
They
on like
will
things
play lack agility, but daring.
Say no more. I will find it for you.
I know of a place you may find some. Please hurry. You may need to cut more than
Was the
once
female
before you
head
have
who
enough.
lost fights. He was the lovable mess. Like the situation was the arrogant loudmouth. Vinny was the laid-back, lovable nice guy. Pauly D was the uplifting wingman. You knew exactly what you were going to get from each character, which made the show easier to produce, made the stories easier to write, and fans could easily understand and develop parasocial relationships with the cast. However, during the casting process, what producers were things and characteristics known as the dark triad. The term dark triad refers to a trio of negative personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Put more simply, they're looking for those who are entitled, lack empathy, and manipulate others. Why? Well, These are the people that create the best drama. A perfect example is Russell Hantz from Survivor. But first, a quick word from today's F1. When it comes to strategy and endurance, Russell became legendary for burning other contestants' stocks, sabotaging food supplies, and lying straight to people's face. He wasn't just playing the game, he was thriving on manipulation and control. Hantz loved blue forwards. Contestants wear these dark triad traits like a badge of honor. Tiffany New York Pollard is one of the most iconic reality stars in history who is unapologetic about starting out her own on VH1's Flavor of Love.
We actually tripled our sales revenue from Google Ads when we incorporated Performance Max. So Google Ads allowed us to find that audience at scale and build awareness with people who were ready to make a change.
You can tell this is the first interaction I really have with Ray, so I wanted to see her.
Aveline, just in time. Please, can you help me give them the medicine? I'm afraid it may take a little force. With the fever, they are not of the right mind.
You are certain this will work? I am not in the habit of harming civilians.
I am certain and observe.
Or take
Under the
Stephen Bear
fever's
from
influence,
Exo Beach.
they
He
are
built a
hardly
personal
civil.
around seduction, betrayal, and exploiting his relationships for entertainment, but it turns out this was no person. This was actually who he was in real life. Bear was convicted and jailed for revenge fraud after leaking exclusive footage of an ex-partner.
They will thank
He was sentenced to
you
21
later.
years in prison.
One
Psychologist Pamela B. Roach says that the
There are
perfect
many
reality
others who will
police
need your
are
help.
imperfect
If you
scammer
can find
has
more
found many
mushrooms,
overlapping
you will
traits.
find no
Vendors,
shortage of
artists, and
patients
scammers
who
all
need
tend to
it.
exude energy and have excellent powers of persuasion. The best scammers can project something desirable and likable about themselves to increase perceptions of trust and appear to offer an opportunity with lots of upside while glossing over the risks. And to no surprise, there are literally countless people who were found guilty of financial crimes before or after appearing on reality TV. Jen Shaw from The Real
They go to jails and fucking stop people in prison. They get so many people. Man, what keeps disconnected?
Housewives of Salt Lake City was running a telemarketing scam targeting vulnerable, often elderly individuals. Shaw pleaded guilty and was later sentenced to 6.5 years in prison and ordered to pay $6.5 million in restitution. Teresa Giudice from The Real Housewives of New Jersey served 11 months in prison after committing multiple acts of financial fraud. Richard Hatch from Survivor was indicted for fraud and tax evasion. Todd and Julie Chrisley were found guilty of both evading taxes and conspiracy to defraud community banks out of more than $30 million to fund their managed lifestyle. Julie and Todd were sentenced to 11 and 12 years in prison, but lucky for them, another reality star scammer had the power to personally pardon them. If you just Google reality star fraud, you get so many different examples that it actually looks like these producers are intentionally trying to cast scammers to be on their show. But show producers have been criticized for not doing enough due diligence to avoid platform.
Some of it is not on producer's fault, though. You gotta understand, some people aren't evil yet, right? They haven't had the opportunity to reach their final form of evil yet. Because you haven't presented them with the money to do it, the opportunities to access the whatever to do it. But once they get the money to be evil, to do the things they want to do, maybe niggas will turn evil, man. You know what I'm saying? They just can't do it yet. So, sometimes, man, you get a big paycheck from a reality TV show, and that's it, bro. Now that's what you do, man. You're fucking hungry for it. And you gotta think, after this shit's over, like, their lives will go back to normal, bro. It's not, most of them don't ride the high of being on TV. Not money-wise, not attention-wise, most people can't, they don't have the skills to even maintain it. They wasn't entertainers before this. They just got thrown into it, So, it's very possible in an attempt to keep up, the money and the attention and the views and whatever, that they turn to speech.
Since they go through a deep vetting process, they should know about any potential controversies. Bachelor contestants met with a private investigator who is, quote, trained to dig up any skeletons in the closet, partly to use for their storyline, but also to get ahead of any tabloid stories that could come to the surface if they were on the show. Had they ever been arrested? Had they ever sent nude photos to anyone? Had they ever made an X tape? Had they gotten a DUI? Recently, Love Island cast member Sierra Ortega was removed from season 7 after posts from years ago resurfaced showing her using a racial slur that was historically used to attack Asian people. Outrage erupted online, she was labeled a racist, and fans demanded that she be removed from the show. She announced that she left the show due to a personal situation and then issued an apology online.
I had no ill intention when I was using it, but that's absolutely no excuse because internet doesn't excuse ignorance. It just doesn't.
Sierra also noted in her apology that angry fans called ICE on her family, and she posted a slew of extremely hateful messages and threats she was receiving. To give you an idea of the magnitude of Love Island and this controversy, Sierra's apology video has over 20 million views. And some people were confused why this was being treated as a new news story, considering she had publicly addressed and apologized for the use of this slur before she was ever on Love Island, and that raised some conspiracies. Some suggest that producers knew about this controversy before the masses did and actively ignored it, because if you think about it, Love Island only benefits from Sierra's backlash, as her name is directly tied to the Netflix series. I think it's safe to assume that when it comes to a reality TV show, all publicity is good publicity, right? When Love is Blind faced similar backlash for allegedly platforming bad people, creator Chris Colan defended their vetting process. We have background checks and psychological evaluations. Everyone in the world has a story, and we aren't the police. These shows don't take accountability for the actions of their contestants because, well, realistically, they aren't to blame, but also because they aren't exactly innocent because, well, realistically, they are.
Why are these two the face of every fucking reality TV show, bro? No, seriously. What are they known for, nigga? Like, who are these two people, bro? I see them everywhere, bro. Are they like the golden example of a perfect relationship or something? Why are they everywhere? Anytime there's a content relationships on reality TV, these two motherfuckers show up. Just start reading the teleprompter.
Blame, but also because they aren't exactly looking for the most morally righteous individuals in the first place. Producers want a perfect mix of unpredictable, toxic, and genuine personalities, which when thrown in a room together for long enough are guaranteed to cause chaos and produce dramatic television. Then again, producers' psychological manipulation tactics can even have genuine people behave differently than they normally would. Sarah Hartshorn, who was cast on America's Next Top Model in 2007, described producers exuding a subtle tactic. Thousands upon thousands sent in audition tapes from all over the country, every single state. We had contestants stepped all over looking for candidates. It's almost made you're here, and it's not just your looks. You all know that being a top model is more than that. It's who you are. And one of you is America's Next Top Model. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. By framing the contestants as chosen and exceptional, producers create a heightened sense of purpose and pressure. It deepens the emotional investment of the cast, making them more willing to endure extreme conditions or humiliation for the sake of not wasting their once-in-a-lifetime shot. It also shifts the power dynamic in favor of the producers. Contestants are no longer just their characters in a producer's story that they feel obligated to live up to. And before ever stepping onto the set, contestants are almost always required to sign strict contracts, often including detailed non-disclosure agreements. Now it's easy to understand why NDAs are somewhat necessary to prevent the show's ending spoiled by bitter contestants, as the episodes were filmed months in advance, but fans have to wait week after week to find out what happened. So they don't realize is sometimes these contracts come with threats. Sarah Hartstone recalls America's Next Top Model producers threatening to sue contestants for $5 million if they leaked any information about the show. The contestants were shook. They thought, we don't have $5 million. The producers replied, we know you don't. We know all about all of your financial information.
Mademoiselle
You have
Adeline,
$5 million.
a shady
None of your
character,
families
Monsieur
have $5 million
Renaud, if
either.
that is his real name, diverts goods through the bayou to the black market, thanks to ties with the Spanish military.
What else is new?
Besides the heat and the alligators, his headquarters are near the fort.
I'll go apply a little heat of my own.
Joe, that's crazy.
NDAs can go a little further. They can prohibit contestants from publicly discussing production conditions, mental health struggles during filming, and any manipulative tactics producers use behind the scenes. Take this viral Reddit post from a former reality show contestant, for example. The producers made me go through hell for 4 months. I lost my house, my car, my business, my boyfriend.
The producer didn't do all that, right? The producers did make you lose your house, your car, your business, your boyfriend. Your house, your car, your business, your boyfriend, your social media, fuck with that TV show. Come on, man.
They exploited me to the point of a mental breakdown. They used contracts to hold me hostage in a sense, gaslit me every day. I can't even bring myself to discuss what they did, as it's so upsetting to think of, as they used me, and I feel so stupid. I'm now living with my parents at 40, too afraid to date or talk again, and have overwhelming shame. Now, sure, this could just be
What you for? Signing up for a reality TV show with strict contracts. I just don't understand, bro. I really don't understand. No, you're too old to be making that mistake. You know what I'm saying? Maybe any more than you consented to the chance of it happening, you took the risk. Really what it is, man. Check. If Mr. Beast invited you to the next season of his reality TV show, he buys like $5 million a line. How many of you are leaving your job just in case you win it? I think that's half the people watching. Just leave their job for a chance to go. Or school, take a break from school, whatever. This means not making you lose your job. You're just weighing a risk. There's a chance that you win. Or even if you can't win, maybe there's a chance you can get like a career in social media and you do something, right? You can do something. And like, the reason I use that as an example is because unlike some of these other shows, with like Love is Blind and stuff like that, where your prize is a wife or a husband, and this show is $5 million. That's life changing. Most of these shows do not have life-changing consequences. Right? You win Family Feud, nigga, you actually win $20,000 if you win Fast Food. It's not, like, you can run at $20,000 pretty fucking soon, which is hard to run at a pretty if you feel it. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, that's life changing, man. If I was in college, it's funny that I'm saying that risk, bro.
Fuck me, a random person on the internet making this whole thing up, but this anonymous recount sounds exactly like the countless personal stories I will share throughout this video. So now that producers have acquired a perfect cast of clashing personalities, instilled all of them with a slight god complex,
To start streaming for this suit.
and preventing them from revealing any information about their experience, the next thing to do is manipulate their surroundings, restricting their diet, and implementing borderline torturous tactics to manufacture chaos. It all starts with 24/7 surveillance. As soon as you wake up in the morning, your mic is put on. When you go to bed, it's taken off. On The Bachelor, contestants sign contracts in which they must agree to be filmed up to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but this may also be by means of hidden cameras and microphones, according to the contract, meaning they're likely going to be caught at some point in a less than positive light. They should have no expectation of privacy. This may seem like an obvious necessity for reality TV to function. After all, the only way they can capture reality is by making sure literally everything is being filmed and recorded. Sometimes you see a contestant rip out their microphone and storm off to essentially protest being recorded. Cameras just follow them anyways, and the audience is excited for the It's a hard reminder because they've learned to escape. The Bachelor, constant filming, is actually sold as a good part of the experience. Let's look up about things like anxiety, grief, or past trauma. Cameras are rolling 24/7, turning their real pain into a part of the show. So they believe that their surveillance is most characters. This is a show that is
It does hit me kind of how evil that is, you know? even when I'm doing a marathon, there's always a point in a marathon where I'll take a breather for like 5-10 minutes. I can step off cam. You know, fucking Marcus not gonna follow me with a camera and start farming content. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's day 4, we're playing Elden Rings, I'm mentally fucking fried right now. No, we need a little breather. Imagine if somebody told me, nah, you can't take a breather, this camera's following you. I think I'm gonna lose it too, bro. To a certain extent, you do consent to that. Like, that actually is the appeal of Big Brother. I don't know if Big Brother's still like this. They have 24/7. While the season is going on, you watch the show 3 times a week. But they also have 24/7 cams. You can go and watch 24/7 cams and spoil an episode for yourself. And like the cat, that was fire. So I'm like, damn, I could watch these niggas when I make it on the show one day. I'll be chilling and niggas to watch me. I like that part, but I can see why that's like a little bit fucked up.
Literally, they like reveals all of their being broadcasted. The craziest part is the contestants have no control of how that pain is edited, manufactured, and presented to the world. Surveillance is done by the producers to maintain complete control over their participants. And this anonymous Love Island contestant described the extreme lengths producers would go to.
We can very much have a machine control environment. It's not too much about like outside of the voice of God, which is like a big speaking alternative God. So it's like this doesn't really matter. Most of the day is just filled with gossiping about situations inside the village that's still around.
Another former Love Island contestant described what producers can do to provoke a situation.
They set up the environment to test you, because they know exactly what you don't like, they know exactly what you're scared of, they know what you're attracted to, what you're not attracted to, they know your triggers, so it's very easy for them to manipulate your environment and situations to get the best reaction out of you. Especially when the storyline is not going the way that they want, they know exactly how to fix that because they know you very well. You're literally just a little rat in their experiment, and they're trying to see what they can change and what they can do to see how you're going to react and how far they can push you.
Now, beyond surveillance, one of the foundational elements of a successful reality show is keeping the contestants in pure isolation. In Big Brother, contestants are confined to a house with no access to phones, no television, or contact with family and friends. This isolation forces them to build relationships within the house, making every alliance, betrayal, and argument feel more intense. Former Bachelor contestant Leslie Hughes said, "We have nothing. We are good."
I would like to see Big Brother because that is the whole point of the show. It's not a feature of the show. The entire purpose. There is the voice that contests God. Are signing up for that voice to talk. They're literally talking about that entire world. It's a far distant place. I mean, it's right outside your door. There's a live audience. There's a live audience right outside your door watching you, bro. I mean, I can watch you from home 24/7. This is the entire purpose. So it's like, if you're going to that and you think you have some semblance of privacy,
Completely cut off from the world. We have to talk to each other. We have to do. Similarly, Love Island isolates contestants on a larger scale where they have no communication with the outside world. There are no distractions, and they essentially create this artificial bubble where everything on set becomes the only thing that matters to them.
Any autonomy at all. Not only did they change our phones, they took our wallets, they took our IDs, they took our passports, all in the same instance, telling us ahead of time this was going to happen. And we were filming 18 to 28 hours a day. The only time we weren't being filmed was when the union crews swapped out for a new crew because they had met their maximum for the day. You never see daylight unless you're allowed to use the bathroom. There's some trailer outside. They keep you in a state where you really have no idea how much time has transpired. It's one of those things where, looking back on it, if someone told me it was a month, I would have believed it.
So what else can they do to cure their boredom? Well, have you ever noticed just how much alcohol is being consumed by reality TV shows? It feels like most of the explosive moments or juicy drama erupts after a night of heavy drinking. Nick Bateman from Big Brother said, "Alcohol was given to us when we were feeling down or depressed or nothing was going on, because obviously alcohol is the Molotov cocktail producers use to liven things up." Bateman says drinks were coveted by contestants because it would quell the boredom of being captive in the house. Bronwyn Windenberg from the Real Housewives of Orange County says that producers took it a step further. Whenever you're filming, they have alcohol there. They ask you before you go on a trip, what kind do you like? They get to know what your favorites are. And while producers don't force you to drink, alcoholic beverages were readily available.
That's like leaving Popeyes on with the 8 p.m. I stand no chance, bro. You can't do that to me, bro. It's just impossible. You know, what's your festival for Popeyes? Then you start putting fucking spicy thighs all over the bread. I would fail, bro. I completely understand where they're coming from.
And that sometimes during scenes, cast members were discouraged from eating. Jeremy Hartwell, who was a Love is Blind contestant, sued the company alleging that he could not access food and water, but alcohol was available, and even encouraged on an empty stomach. Now, it's one thing to give a bunch of partiers some alcohol, but putting restrictions on their diet is just borderline evil, and there's a lot of evidence that supports this tactic. On The Bachelor, contestants are not allowed to eat any food during their dates because the microphones pick up the unpleasant sounds. No one looks good eating, and microphones pick up all kinds of chomping. Now, this seems like a justifiable reason, and even though it's not constant, shows how Survivor. Contestants aren't fed enough to somewhat mimic the simulated reality of surviving on the islands, but one can also theorize that low blood sugar could prompt emotional reactions, pushing contestants towards emotional medical breakdowns. In Mr. Beast games, contestants complained about their food fashions. One meal reportedly included a tiny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. Also, was recorded stretches without being fed by the production. There were times when the production staff gave out small feastable chocolate bars and filmed some people eating and praising the team. Since with allergies and dietary restrictions struggled more than others. Before the competition, people filled out forms detailing their dietary needs. An FAQ document was provided to contestants in advance of the event and said that dietary and sleep restrictions would be taken into consideration. However, several contestants claimed to be served food they were allergic to, and that alternatives hadn't been provided or were treated horribly. Our contestants said they took on this challenge in 2004. They checked out we needed to produce food to enable this correct. So now the producers have trapped and isolated borderline toxic people who are malnourished and pumped with alcohol. At the very least, a good night's sleep would be their last chance to recalibrate. Well, they don't get that either, because sleep deprivation is one of the most messed up but crucial parts of the reality show entertainment formula.
There's no goodness, it's like, she got really late, wakes me up early, so you're gonna react to what we
Endpoints from clones to testings to servers make scaling and growth possible for everyone. But every mismanaged endpoint introduces risks, efficiency challenges, and operational overhead. Names, devices, tickets, alerts, and disconnected tools to get attention. Ninja One unifies IT to simplify work. One platform to manage, protect, and support endpoints in one place. Reduce spend, boost resilience, and minimize user friction with Ninja One.
Most competition reality shows follow a similar daily routine. Wake up early in the morning, typically around 7 a.m., then they go do their competitions or tasks for the day, then in the evenings they talk strategy or socialize with another while getting drunk. Now you have to keep in mind the producer's top priority is to get 45 minutes of watchable television each day. They can count on roughly half of the airtime coming from the actual competitions or tasks, but the other half needs to be the all-too-sweet drama that everyone craves. If the day is coming to an end and they don't think they have enough, they will keep the contestants up waiting. For 3 years, Sarah Shapiro has promised on the show The Bachelor. Her task, as she recalls it, was to get the contestants to open up and to give them terrible advice and to deprive them of sleep. She sees it now as complicated manipulation.
She sees it now as complicated manipulation. Buddy, when you were fucking giving them terrible advice and depriving them of sleep, you didn't see that as manipulation? What did you think it was, bro? What did you think you were doing?
For friendship. In Jeremy Hartwell's lawsuit against Love is Blind, he said that they implemented what was called night dating. We didn't have clocks or anything, so it's hard to know exactly when it happened, but typically the night dates would last until about 2 a.m. He estimates that between getting back to his hotel room at 3 a.m. and being expected in the lobby at 7:15 a.m. He got 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. On the challenge, cast members have reported being kept up until 3 or 4 a.m. and then forced into physically demanding tasks just a few hours later. On Love Island, lights in the villa stay on until producers decide it's time for bed, and contestants are often...
Very well.
It's like a set of a... Yo, bro,
I
everything
thought
is
you would
white.
accept it.
Everything is white and all the lights are on. I can sleep in any conditions, so it wouldn't faze me. But that's like a weird form of evil, bro.
Woken up abruptly for surprise challenges. The lights are on the entire time during Big Brother taping, even when the contestants are asleep. Interestingly enough, this is the same tactic that is used by the toughest maximum security prison in El Salvador. Privacy and sleeping with the lights on is considered a privilege.
The modules are kept lit all day and night for monitoring. When the sun goes down, the lights stay on all the time.
They're constantly being observed. I think this is one of the hardest things. When they try to sleep, they use their towels and cover their eyes to block the light.
And if all this manipulation, control, pushing contestants to their breaking points still isn't enough to make a good show, producers have one final weapon. They'll rewrite reality itself through a process known as frankenbiting. Frankenbiting is the editing technique reality TV producers use to reshape a contestant's words and actions into whatever storyline they want, even if
Like, you can tell they do it too. Like, and today, the person being eliminated is... And right now it's cut into like 7 different people's reactions. Lifeless script, get the fuck out of this house, my nigga. Like, anyone that do shit like that to me, it feels fake because I get it, there's tension. You don't have to try to make the fucking tension, bro. Come on, Gabe, what to this have to be fake, bro? Just who's being eliminated from the house.
if it's not what actually happened. Editors take small clips of dialogue, sometimes even single words or reactions, and stitch them together to create entirely new sentences or emotional responses that never happened in real life. Now, a lot of the time, this seems to be completely innocuous, like this clip from The Bachelor. The girl who says, "Shut up," is spliced and formatted to make it look like she interrupted Corinne.
What are you doing? What do you think? I'm removing you. You can't. We'll be cut. Oh, we'll be cut. Truly.
The editor spliced in a clip of Lil Yachty dancing, but he wasn't dancing to my shit, but they put it there. They made it look like he was blowing into that motherfucking gang. What a toast on it, man.
And see, there's like things going on with
It's true.
In real life, when Corinne was talking, Jamie did not interrupt her and say "shut up." That was taken from an entirely different moment out of context. And then the women who are shown laughing after Jamie said "shut up" was also clearly taken out of context. It's happened so often in reality TV, and it's extremely clunky to watch. It often makes me wonder how people get so invested when you can see that things are manipulated even for the smallest reasons. However, sometimes situations are chopped up so much and narratives are so distorted that it's shameful producers got away with it. In season 1 of Joe Millionaire in 2003, Sarah Kozer was being portrayed as the bad girl. Producers set up a scene where Sarah and Evan go for a walk into the dark yard where the cameras cannot capture them. They took audio from Sarah getting a back massage from another female castmate hours before and then put it over a vague panning shot of the backyard and made it seem like she was giving Evan top in the woods.
It made it look like she gave him head in the woods.
But even when Sarah tried to go to the press after the show was over and convince everyone that the whole scene was taken out of context, people were convinced.
Let me take a look. It's really ready to go ahead.
Move out! It's not safe here.
Making up this whole story about you were set up. You were in love with that guy. You went to the police. Everyone would be noise.
I hate to predict it. I just want you to entertain the possibility that the chance that everything you see on television is exactly right.
Dios santo! More voodoo!
Connect your tools and
Deserter! Come back! I will have you court-martialed!
create and scale your business. From ad fatigue and a constant struggle to keep up. On time, high-performing ad creatives backed by AI.
Keep moving, Dave! And this time, keep your eyes open and wait about you. May God watch over us.
Budgets and campaigns from a single dashboard that shows the connected truth of all your data. A system that can handle what you need when you need it. All by itself. It's integral to marketing. Reach your true potential. Connect to marketer.com. See for yourself. Brand ready?
Back when fucking radio hit, man, niggas used to call in and give their thoughts on whether a bitch gave head on a reality TV show, man. I miss those fucking days, bro.
Although Sarah Moser handled this scrutiny from the public with grace, others fell victim to the immense backlash. One of the darkest consequences of reality show editing is how quickly contestants become targets for obsessive, toxic fandoms, which has mostly been aimed towards people who have been labeled as villains on the show. And to some degree, you can't blame the fans. After all, they can only judge a contestant based on what they've seen on the show. As we know, these shows are barely a reflection of who that person actually is. What makes it worse is these mass harassment campaigns often come from fans who believe they're acting on some kind of moral high ground. They'll flood a contestant's social media with hate and death threats, and in some cases, dig up private information like addresses or family details. Olivia Atwood from Love Island UK opened up about receiving over 3,000 messages a day after her season aired, many of them telling her she didn't deserve to live. Another is Big Brother's Aaron Rees, who spoke about how viewers campaigned for her to lose her job after producers portrayed her as a manipulator through some editing. Sometimes the harassment doesn't end with hateful comments. For some contestants, the public mauling and emotional toll have pushed them beyond their breaking point. A stat that absolutely blew my mind was that at least 40 people have died after promotion and bad appearances on reality TV. Anna Kiba, a female professional wrestler who was among the cast of the popular Japanese reality series Terrace House, died at age 22. She posted a goodbye message on social media after receiving a storm of hate online. Love Island had two contestants in back-to-back seasons suffer the same fate. Sophie Graydon, age 32 in 2018, and Mike Velasquez, age 26.
Yeah, that's almost a bit like humans aren't designed to be. Like, humans aren't designed for the way the internet works, bro. Like, even if somebody did some really evil shit, the community would hear about it. You know, over the course of months, you know, Pigeon would tell the next Pigeon, some other communities would hear about it. Maximum, a few hundred people learn about your evil act, right? But in 2026 internet, 1 billion people can learn about it overnight. And they all have opinions and thoughts. And it's not always based on the truth. Especially in reality TV, when they could very easily lie about the facts. You know, and especially like it's not like they've like their careers been like this, where they've got a chance to grow some thick skin, learn some lessons. It's like when you go to reality TV, nobody knowing you aside from your loved ones. So everybody knowing you depending on the show. Nobody's prepared for that level of hate. We're listening. That is just such an overwhelming amount of hate. I am genuinely not surprised. And honestly, that's sad. Fucking crazy. Back-to-back seasons, somebody took their life. Back-to-back seasons, and the producers did nothing different. They probably strengthened their contract so people can't sue. This shit.
In 2019, The Bachelor had two women from the same exact season pass, Alexa McAllister and Gia Allen. What if I told you that the very first person who was ever voted over a reality show in history also suffered the same fate? Would that not be a slight indication of a broken system? In June 1997, Sneesa Savija became the first person in the world to ever be voted over a reality TV competition. The show was called Expedition Robinson. 4 weeks after he was voted off, he walked in front of a train. 9 weeks after that, the first episode of Expedition Robinson aired anyway. Before I started researching this video, I knew reality shows were pretty messed up, but I had no idea just how many tragic losses have been suffered from former contestants and the countless other attempts have been made. And of course, this fate is never the result of just one thing. It's an incredibly complex and deep decision influenced by countless factors. Open reality shows follow the same formula again and again: calculated casting, 24/7 surveillance, isolating contestants, restricting their diet, flooding them with alcohol, depriving them of sleep, turning them essentially into controlled robots, and then putting all of their worst moments on display to millions of people. It's easy to see the inherent evil.
I genuinely believe people hate people more than they hate things or corporations, because I just refuse to believe if Love Island was a face, right? Let's say it was Mr. Beast, and multiple people on back-to-back Mr. Beast show killed themselves, right? I just don't see a world where that's not the top news story, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, when there's no face to the thing, it's like people go easy on him. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get mad at Mr. Beast or to get mad at him. I'm saying you sit there and brag about watching the show and all type of shit. Mr. Beast right now. He's not that likable right now. But if he's a big Mr. Beast fan, he's going to be good for them. 24 shows. If you really believe what you're saying, you have to stand on that both ways, bro. If you're gonna get mad at one nigga for giving shit away, you have to get mad at these companies. These companies, it's not just one nigga, bro. They got thousands of people that make millions of dollars. And they're held to like just zero fucking accountability. They just move on, get a stronger contract, and then shoot the next season. It doesn't matter. They get sued cold, they lose like, what, nothing. Fucking change compared to how much they make. They move on. It's insane. It's just insane. They're taking fucked up people, putting them in fucked up situations, and when there's a fucked up result, it's like there's nothing that happens. Then we just move on. Until it didn't exist.
Reality TV needs to have to create the entertainment, and with so many lives lost, it starts to make you wonder if this obviously broken system will ever change.
It's like, I feel like reality TV is more popular than ever, bro. That'd be pretty imagine. No. And not realize it was that bad.
Sell everywhere your customers are. Online, AI chats, people walking through your doors. Free sale and in one place. Customers are waiting.
A certified painter, how cops involved. Webcam, it's 11 a.m. 47-year-old
Curtis Green is walking down some mini donuts with a bottle of Coke. He's home alone when suddenly his doorbell rings and his two chihuahuas start barking. Surprised, Green gets up and grabs his wife's mean walking cane. They live in a suburban neighborhood in Spanish Fork, Utah, and don't get visitors often. Shuffling over to the window, he sees a postman hurrying away from the door. But he looks weird.
Young man, if I ever see a postman running away from the game, he planted a bomb. I don't understand much children understood. If that ever jogs away, it is a bomb. You better evacuate.
Instead of a full uniform, he's wearing the U.S. Postal Service jacket with jeans and sneakers. And instead of the normal posting van, he's heading to an unmarked white van parked across the street. Nevertheless, lying on the porch is a box-sized package. It has a Maryland postmark on it, but no return address. When Green picks it up, he can feel how heavy it is. He examines the package.
Wrong hands.
Then he limps over the lawn to his trash can and simply throws it away. Then he goes back inside and closes the door. But he doesn't trust his gut instincts for long. After a few minutes, he breaks the package inside and grabs a pair of scissors. 1 cut is all it takes for a plume of white powder to fill the air and cover his face. At this exact moment, the unlocked front door flies off its hinges, and Joaquin bursts into the living room. The package contains over 1 kilogram of high-quality cocaine. He drops it and gets down. He doesn't even think about resisting. Officers search him at gunpoint and find $23,000 in cash in his fanny pack. They seize his computer, Bitcoin mining rig, and Samsung phone. Curtis Green is arrested on cocaine possession with intent to distribute. He has just been the target of a controlled delivery sting operation by the Marco Polo Task Force, a special group operating under the Baltimore Homeland Security Investigations Office. There was a sample to bring down one man to drug pirate Roberts, the mysterious figure behind the dark web drug empire, the Silk Road, and Curtis Green's boss. Green suspects that being a high-level moderator with access to the inner workings of the infamous site makes him extremely valuable to law enforcement. As long as he cooperates, if he doesn't find out, he can get him away. What he doesn't know is that one of the agents who just busted down his front door will frame him for stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from Silk Road vendors. And his partner will torture Green and force him to help bring down the biggest online drug market in the world.
When I like making my podcast, I don't like making short clips of my podcast. So the AI chooses the best clips, maybe this one.
Right now?
Yeah, because it knows what's important. And it actually gives you a score based on how well your clip is going to connect with your audience. And it also reframes us to vertical, depending on platform. So, in fact, if there were 4 of us, it would do that too. It might do 20 or 30 of these.
Wow.
You see these animated captions?
Yeah.
They're automatic. You just set the style, but it's automatically transferred.
That's crazy. Does it have any editing capabilities in case one tweaks?
Yeah, so there's an online editor right over here, and you can edit using the timeline or this transcript-based editor right here. And
you enjoy videos and work in journalism, or even better, video journalism? We're looking for an experienced writer to join Fred as editor-in-chief. You can find all the details on our new website. Link is in the description. Today's video based on the Kingpin by Nick Belcher. You'll find a link in the description.
Well, perhaps I might be convinced.
These are Special Agent Carl Force and Special Agent Sean Bridges. Force is DEA in charge of the unit's undercover operations and drug-related crimes. He's a veteran with over 15 years of experience under his belt, some of which he worked as an undercover agent. He's no stranger to crafting elaborate personas to avoid detection, infiltrating criminal groups, and dismantling them from the inside out.
Are you drunk already?
Were you not Martin Van Buren? I seem to remember.
Nothing. You remember nothing.
Right. Because I'm so
He has plenty of experience conducting forensic computer investigation.
Life was better when I was a kid and I didn't know anything. I feel like knowing things just makes life worse. More information I learn about this fucking sucks. You can't unlearn everything.
Applications to locate and identify targets. He's also well versed in the anonymity software for the Onion Router was developed by the US Navy. It's a specialized software that makes it practically impossible to locate the computer's hosting or accessing websites on the network. It's the backbone of the dark web and used to access sites not found on the public internet. Sites like the Silk Road, the largest online black market in the world. Here, vendors sell illicit goods like drugs for Bitcoin. And the two agents just got one step closer.
How the fuck do you even come up on this shit? Like, as a person who grows up in a normal environment, in the city or in the suburbs, or in the country, how do you even still fucking stupid on this shit? Like, fucking everything from Super Smash Bros. To RuneScape, but I've never had a friend who's like, bro, you shit fucking taste, dude. Word of mouth?
Are you drunk already?
Were you not Martin Van
The
Buren?
this is sitting behind the computer and assumed we can tell her flash. Otherwise known as the Fireball Max, being interrogated in the
Now you will reap your
major
reward.
arrests in this case.
And I will cut Vasquez down to size.
Green gives the officers the
And
right
then we celebrate!
Evelyn, I'll gather my men.
immediately
We'll meet
change the
you at the
password
ship.
and secure it.
And the plundering will begin!
Bigger fish than they originally thought. Special moderator privileges given by DPR allow him to check. Change people's passcodes and lock them out of their accounts. But that's not all. Digging a little deeper, they discover that he has access to the Bitcoin of all users. Hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. With a digital currency that was considered pretty much untraceable at the time, it's surprising that Green has this much trust. He could easily steal the money and run. But it's clear that, for some reason, Green is deathly afraid of his boss. As he's being taken to the squad car, he begs the agents not to take him to jail. Agent Force just finds his bag in with he puts his number into Green's phone, tells him to call when he gets out, and sends him on his way.
Let me help you out. One of the hardest parts about scaling an e-commerce brand is maintaining consistency while increasing creative value. For all we know, that creative is the majority making difference. Eventually, the brand is you just brand owner. Every ad. Hey, as you hopefully know, I'm a here.
His mugshot is meant due. He was just released on bail. It's only a matter of time before his mugshot is made. It's either this or being hunted down by one of DPR's goons. But maybe
Are your men
there's a
ready?
third option.
Ready? They can barely contain themselves.
And dials the number
Help me
of
do
special
something about
agent.
the guard before our men rush the ship and get shot for our own.
I'm not connecting the dots. The cocaine was his. Because everything he didn't trust God, which means it was planted. It's all planted on him. So, would it be the DEA that planted him? Or the enemy that planted on him? Yes, it was. So they planted drugs on him. So the government planted drugs on this guy so they can investigate him. he can get information about the operation. I didn't know they could legally do that, dude. They do that all the time. Huh. Of course. The agents continue to poke around Green's moderator account, and one thing becomes abundantly clear. On the Silk Road, he's a top lieutenant, exactly the type of informant they hope to flip with their sting operation. They meet with Green at the Marriott Hotel in Salt Lake City. There, the agents give him the new password for his account. As long as they know acts like nothing happens, everything should be fine. That was the move. Okay, this is Brad Pirate Roberts. He's the mastermind behind the Silk Road and one of the most wanted men on the internet. His identity is a mystery, but his mission is clear. Nigga folded to a fake charge. It's not fake, nigga. The time he was being accused of was real, bro. That's crazy. That means as a criminal, he didn't do nothing wrong. The perfect execution as a criminal, they planted evidence on him to get him out of there. That's crazy. That's crazy. To create global enterprise whose purpose it is to empower people to live as free individuals. He often posts about his libertarian ideals in chat rooms with several friends. He talks about astrology minds and algorithm, the practice of engaging in black market activity as a form of non-violent revolution. He frequently makes his distaste for government regulation heard. Those on the inside support his vision, by any means necessary. At the moment, he's staring at a message from one of his moderators, Inigo. I detected impossible theft of approximately 20,000 bitcoins. $14 billion USD? Yeah. Sounds reasonable. I thought for it. It looks like he reset the passwords of individual Silk Road users. The vendors have just been robbed and attacked 20,000 bitcoins and over $350,000. He knew that Santa was out when flushed in a login for work. Confirm your merchant. Get back to the agent. To confirm his suspicions, he pulls up the photocopy of Flash's ID that he asked for when he hired him. A quick Google search of his real name leads him to a website cataloging recent posts. It confirms his worst fears. One of his top lieutenants is compromised. A man he thought he could trust. Did he start stealing because the feds are onto him? Perhaps the passion make a run for it? It doesn't matter. DPR knows he's left with three options. Scare him, beat him, or kill him. And he can't do it alone. It's a job for someone with connections in the underworld. And one man immediately comes to mind. Still refused to be able to know well over the past 9 months. It's a fatality that eventually drugs will different community. If it's not the DPR checked offering to buy the business, the 9-figure operation will be counter with was a bit steep. The deal went off. Knob is clearly an admirer of what DPR has built and was quick to give advice. With over 20 years experience in the drug business, he's a wealth of information and a man with connections. Just the kind of man DPR needs to carry out his dirty work. I have a problem that requires violence. One of my employees stole from me. Not a lot, but it pisses me off to no end. Do you want? Little did he fucking know he just got robbed of tens of billions. Yeah, he just held the Bitcoin. That's crazy. I beat up, shot, just paid a visit. I'd like to beat him up. I'm force him to send the Bitcoins he stole back. Like, sit him down at his computer and make him do it. Who is it and where is he? I'll send you his ID.
Nos chemin se croisent à nouveau.
across the table from him, eating french fries. Curtis Green. Force and his partner Bridges have just completed a 2-hour interrogation with their informant. His lawyer had also been present but left early, instructing Green to just tell them everything he knows. Working undercover as the South American drug smuggler Eladio Guzman, or No, has been relatively fruitful so far. Force used the orchestrate a sting operation that led to Green's arrest. He offered to supply kilos of cocaine to a buyer through DPR, who proposed Green to act as the middleman that would hold on to the coke for the buyer. That worked like a charm.
We have intercepted
But Force
information
didn't
concerning
expect
plans
there would
for
be
a new
so
plan
mess.
that would prove more
Didn't
useful
think
in
Green had
defending
the
your
balls to
trading
steal
efforts
from
against
the boss,
pirates. I will
especially
provide you
when
with the
the
location of the
bosses.
blueprints, but the rest will be up to you. It goes without saying, the plans are highly guarded, and stealth is of the highest importance.
This is a funny show. I'm Clint, okay? That agent has infiltrated the Operation Snow Beat. He offered to buy the website and became friendly with the nigga that runs it. Planted drugs on him. Used him as a mole. If I'm not mistaken, if you're that close to him, you're the mole.
Stop
You can't get the information he needs. Source. No, you could be kidding me. Even though I feel a penny from him.
At first, Bridges is mad, but then he jumps into, "You step back, you stole the money." The men know that with just a little bit of pressure, they can get the new informant to agree to anything. And Forrest has a plan. They just need one little signature to put it into action. Agent Bridges standing in the door of the Marriott Hotel bathroom, watching Curtis Green get waterboarded. After all, he agreed to it in writing. When his partner
They fucking made him sign to get tortured? How is that not coercion, my nigga? Bro, they're doing things that wouldn't stand up in any court. Planting drugs on somebody whose evidence you get is now inadmissible. You can't even fucking prosecute him for that. Legally. Bro, that's hard to read. You can't make somebody sign to something that's illegal. The government pretends like people aren't even getting waterboarded in Guantanamo. That's how illegal it is.
When he got that message from DPR, Bridges knew it would play right into his hands. Blame the informant for the theft, carry out a fake hit for 80k in Bitcoin, and use it as evidence to put DPR away. None of the other men in the room will ever know that the real thief is Bridges himself.
Didn't steal the money. Just admit. They're trying to protect DPR.
The agent dunks Green's head underwater over and over as he struggles violently, screaming bubbles. Green is begging the men to stop, but they have to make it look real for the game.
This is the type of man that you would see like first ballot Hall of Fame in Hellfire. This is the type of guy I'm telling you. This one, the type of nigga right here, peculiar, bro. You're watching the guy get tortured. One of the worst torture you can see in this world for something you did. First ballot Hall of Fame.
Camera. After all, DPR requested photo evidence from Bob. Force makes photo of the photo, and Bridges just lets it happen. The funny thing is, if he hadn't stolen the money, Green never would have been a suspect for the theft, and Forrest never would have gotten such compromising messages from DPR. With his background in blockchain tech, stealing the Bitcoin was easy. He logged into the Flush moderator account and used its administrative privileges to reset the passwords and pins of several Silk Road vendors. He then emptied their accounts and moved 20,000 Bitcoin to a private wallet. He knew he had to hide his trail, so he rapidly transferred the Bitcoin through multiple digital wallets to the Japanese crypto exchange Mt. Gox. He's storing his loot there for now. By a stroke of luck, Green turned out to be the perfect little scapegoat. The man is spluttering and crying on the bathroom floor. He's down to 4 times to get the shot. But while the agents are busy pretending to carry out DPR's orders, the Silk Road Kingpin has a change of heart.
Look at him, shaking James and wanting to execute rather than torture. He was on the inside for a while, and now that he's been arrested, I'm afraid he'll give up info.
The order to torture is now an order to kill. DPR DPR is staring at the picture he just received from Nob. The lifeless, overweight body, pale, wet.
You're gonna have to miss the overweight part.
Wet and covered in puke. A few days earlier, he had gotten confirmation that the hit was complete. Green was waterboarded, almost drowning once, but kept alive with CPR, just to be tortured. But before Nob could get the money back, Green died of asphyxiation and heart failure. The description was disturbing, but the picture confirms the story. DPR saves it to an encrypted folder and transfers the serial of the 80 Bitcoin to Nob. The job is done. He knows it was necessary to protect his business. What he doesn't know is that it will be.
You mean to tell me a government agent killed somebody using torture in America? There has to be a plot twist where the nigga just ended up in fucking Bali or something like that.
Possibly his downfall. Because Green didn't die in a pool of his own vomit. He played dead in a pool of Campbell's soup.
What happens to you when you die? I had left my body and nothing about it.
It was informed and revealed in this
I've seen his spirit come out.
you can manifest the physical.
But Green is dead, by the laying low at his home in Utah, Agent Force is back in Baltimore. He's sitting behind his DEA-issued laptop, continuing his undercover work as Nob. After 15 years of working on the front lines of the drug war, he's gotten pretty good at creating alternate personas. Compared to his old undercover roles, pretending you're someone else online is easy. You just put on a dark hoodie, put on an eye patch, and have the sign reading all hail. Asks his daughter to take a grainy profile picture, and he's a South American drug smuggler. He spent a lot of late nights sitting in his lounge chair, cultivating a friendship with DPR. They talk about everything. Diet, family, personal issues, the drug trade. Force even gives advice on 30-second escape plans, legal counsel, and moving to another country. It takes months for DPR to trust him, but once he does, his efforts pay off. Now they have damning evidence that DPR paid someone to murder for him. Still, it's not worth much if they don't know who the man behind the mask really is. But Nob sees firsthand that DPR is beginning to show cracks. With his first murder out of the way, he becomes more fanatical and eager to hand out punishments. Force knows it's only a matter of time before he slips up and gets caught. Homeland Security, the DEA, IRS, and the FBI are all claiming jurisdiction over the case. Illegal narcotics being sold, packages crossing borders through the mail, transactions holding.
What are the arrests gonna do?
There's Bitcoin being laundered. The Silk Road represents a new wave of crime that somehow touches on the purview of each agency. And they all want the glory of bringing the Silence mastermind down. So Force has to capitalize before they run. So easily DPR would try to
know who the nigga is. You nigga track the money? They don't even know the identity of the guy, bro.
80K to a sanctioned government wallet for the supposed head of Green. But why not get more without them knowing? Just like Bridges, he assumes the nature of crypto will allow him to steal without getting caught. So he moves his conversations with DPR to an encrypted chat his colleagues don't have access to. In June, Nob sells DPR some fake IDs for 400 Bitcoin, which he likely needs to evade police and to random servers to handle the rapid expansion of his empire. In August, Nob introduces him to Kevin, another persona he created, a corrupt law enforcement official who would sell DPR insider information on the ongoing Silk Road investigation. For 525 Bitcoin, he does just that. Then Force creates even more fake personas. Frenchmade, for 100K in Bitcoin, he provides insider information to DPR, claiming that the former CEO of Montbox has allegedly leaked his real name to the Department of Homeland Security. Albert Pacino, for $500 a week, he positions himself as a DEA spy, providing insider scoops on the ongoing Silk Road investigation. Death from above. He threatens to expose DPR's real identity unless he's paid $250,000 in Bitcoin. But DPR doesn't seem to take too kindly to blackmail and calls his bluff. Either way, Force manages to steal hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Silk Road kingpin. And like Bridges, he tries to hide the money trail and promises to maintain a variety of wallets and exchanges.
But you already know back to NASA. We miss it all.
But the amount of money he's moving is suspicious. Then one day, Force hears a rumor. Dread Pirate Roberts had been found. The Baltimore Task Force receives an official stand-down order. The FBI team in New York has beaten them to it. For Force, it's bad news. Really bad. If the agents manage to arrest EPR on his laptop, they will definitely find his chats with him. In a panic, he messages EPR.
My informant, Kevin, is certain that you are to be identified and caught. You are like one of my family, but I have to tell you that I have had several people killed who were sent to jail. It is very easy and cheap. I trust that you have destroyed all messages, chats, etc. between us.
Force never finds out if EPR did. On October 1st, 2013, Ross Ulbricht is arrested in a public library in San Francisco. When he's distracted by two agents, another manages to snatch his laptop from him. His name is Rowe, as Dread Pirate Roberts. The site is shut down almost immediately. The FBI seizes all data from its servers and confiscate the 144,000 bitcoins found in Ulbricht's component. At the time, they're worth between $60 to $18 million, just under $1 million.
They confiscated how much? If the DOJ just hit, if they hold the Bitcoin, the American government will be fucking rich right now.
For English people to really makes the stage stand out to other competitors. It's their overall description. Here to the catalog where she would have had to start out with this plain white t-shirt right here to the design. Since the design is amazing, we got like lighter t-shirts. I can't really put up the blacks, so just come up here and the white color. And just like that, and I just after the front, if you're gonna make it bigger, you make it smaller. Ultimately, I'm just having this AI technology that makes it really easy. Just have your design placed perfectly in the center, ready to be published. If I want to come over to the product and get branding and have my own custom labels and hang tags and add new labels before I was ready to add our signature person onto it. And then all I have to do is just submit. And what Time 6 will actually do is review it to make sure that all of these things are farmed and that they can print it perfectly to your brand's liking. And once that is approved, I can go into any t-shirt image after this hoodie or anything that has a neck label and just add this label. Just hit that, you've seen how easy it is to really just and once you really brand really it's not even going to go stuck on the fence about this using this. It's just where your brand's right for you. So you got 2% off the link in the description to get your sample started for it to move forward.
Always through strategy, design, experience, technology. What we're really creating is none of those, but overall meaning for brands, cultural relevance, and ultimately emotional connection.
We always worked in this way that was like trying to put ourselves at the end of the project, the finished result, as early as possible. That can be tough just because it's not possible to visualize it, replicate it with mock-up, so having Flora and the techniques take us there. It gives us a better idea of whether it's the right neighborhood for the brand, and it helps us make these bigger moves. The technique can be described as pressed workflow. A very complicated flow could be made and then pressed, picked up by someone other than myself as a way to use that same workflow, and they could make small modifications to it, but the output will be relatively similar to what I did.
I think that's how we ended up with two different directions. So I feel like having this brand generator.
$60 to $18 million. Just under 1 million users are locked out forever. 3 days later, Silkwood 2.0 was live on the dark web. It was launched by admins of the original site who were still at large. Paul Force is hailed as one of the heroes who brought down Dread Pirate Roberts. His sting operation and the resulting fake assassination helped build a strong case against Ulbricht, painting him as a bloodthirsty kingpin. For a while, Force thinks he's gotten away with it. With his newfound fame at the DEA and hundreds of thousands of dollars of crypto sitting in several wallets and exchanges, he starts to get cocky. He keeps triggering anti-money laundering checks on services like Venmo and exchanges like Bitstamp when he moves and liquidates his Bitcoin. When his accounts get flagged, he tries to bypass the logs by throwing his DEA agent status around. Eventually, Bitstamp support asks him why he's logging into the service through Tor.
I utilize Tor for privacy, particularly one NSA looking off my shoulder.
This line raises more red flags, and Bitstamp contacts Game Craigslist, and they promptly kickstart Eagles force. Meanwhile, he becomes smaller and brazen. Without Fox's knowledge, he begins to work as the de facto chief compliance officer for the crypto exchange CoinMKT. Using his authority as a DEA agent, he instructs CoinMKT to freeze the balance of a user's account and tells them to transfer the $337,000 to a government account. Then he transfers $300K of those funds to a private wallet. To cover for his crimes, he creates false reports to mislead his superiors, claiming that only $37K had been seized. Shortly after, he sends an unauthorized death warrant and subpoena to Venmo, ordering them to unfreeze his personal account, which had been seized.
Mademoiselle Adelina, perhaps you have noticed prices are higher in the market.
A trick of the enemy, I presume?
Indeed. An extortion named Ratel. He intimidates the merchants and steals their profits. To compensate, they demand more for their goods. They give less in trade.
Time for an economic adjustment.
Find him near the docks and adjust. We will all reap the reward.
By spring of 2014, a massive investigation into Force is in full swing. At its center is IRS Special Agent Tigran Gambarian, an expert in cyber and digital currency crimes. Under his guidance, a team of agents unravels Force's transactions. They track his finances by carefully analyzing the blockchain, the public ledger of all Bitcoin transactions. Combined with the data that was recovered from Bitcoin servers after the takedown, a picture begins to form. The funds from the circle first went down to specific wallets, then to specific bank accounts. But to the agent's surprise, not all were owned by Force. When analyzing the outflow of Bitcoin from Silco, they noticed that some of the transactions lead to his foreign. Bridges had since liquidated his 20,000 Bitcoin for $800,000 and attempted to hide the money in a variety of offshore shell companies. But the special agents thought to be an untraceable currency actually left a clear trail leading right to their doors. The ongoing investigation was intentionally suppressed during the trial against Roosevelt Witt. The jury never hears of their corruption before DP was convicted. He is found guilty on 7 counts and gets 2 life terms plus 40 years without the possibility of parole. In March 2015, both Fox and Bridges were arrested. Forcing them for money laundering, obstruction of justice, and extortion.
Mademoiselle Adelina, conspiracy is a predator.
What now?
With full support of the government, the mogul shipwright Salman fixes impossibly high prices for ships every day.
Good thing I don't work for the government.
Please, find him at the docks and introduce him to a higher law.
Apparently trying to flee the country. Then he stolen another 1,600 Bitcoin from the government wallet, earning him another 24 months.
Dude, these guys are just fucking. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's how a criminal how to be a criminal. Jeez Louise, man. It's not enough crime. These guys are addicted to crime. What the fuck?
Curtis Green originally faces a maximum sentence of 40 years. They don't get charges. Tortured and fake murdered, he's ultimately let go with time served. In 2025, President Donald Trump sent a full and unconditional pardon for Ross Ulbricht.
I was wondering how he got free. There's only one guy. Fucking murder's cool in the country, I guess. I don't know. So they fucking framed the guy. They framed the guy for a crime he didn't commit. Made him a target by making it look like he stole money from a crime boss. They were the ones that stole the money. And they killed him. That'll be bad.
After 10 years, chance.
the last 2 years, then you've seen me do multiple videos about the sweat equity MVP, Sean Gathright.
Based on Mr. Gathway's age, physical abilities, things like that, do you think that the prison would benefit from him and work in custody if he were sentenced to life without parole?
I say yes, from my experience, because the qualification with a former board and even as a jail administrator, he's someone that's young, he's healthy. In reality, we need that labor, we need that sweat equity, and we would put him out there to work because we do have an aging prison population, jail administration. We have that, so we put these young individuals to work, get some sweat equity out of them since they are young and actually.
And if we talk about life without and death row for jurors' education, in Florida, what does a life sentence without parole mean?
A life sentence in Florida, Department of Corrections means from the minute they're brought in, they're assigned an inmate number. He will be assigned an inmate number, and when he dies and leaves in a body bag, he will still have that inmate number. An inmate serving life will never ever get out. There is no parole in the state of Florida. They're not ever allowed outside the razor wire and the fence of a secure facility.
So the only way that an inmate serving life without parole would leave is when they die by natural causes.
One of the 5 people conspired and put together an elaborate plan to take Julio's life, a drill rapper, somebody that was antagonizing him. Before we get started, you know what I need: subs, likes, hypes.
Capitán Dominguez says you're fast. Capitán Dominguez says you're inclined. Capitán Dominguez says...
Alright, enough about Capitán Dominguez. What do you want?
Race you and press I am faster.
What do I get from you lose?
If I lose, I will be happy to serve on your board.
You have a
You got
deal.
4% on Saving Vibe, and you got 24/7 live support. Right now, they're giving out 75 cash to anybody that uses my QR code or my links. Once you scan the QR code, just go through the motions. It'll take you right to the sign-up page. Once you finish with everything, just order your current card. Once you unlock that promo code, that's when you get your $75 bonus when you switch to direct deposit. If you're going through it, if you're stressing over your money, you ain't getting the drink fast enough and all of that, don't worry. Warren has got you covered. Nigga, we've had a problem right now. And I'll say, for a long time. And that is looking to the scene. See, when we got shit, and we know how to get it, take it. That could go for more things than just material. That goes for notoriety. See, we've reached the point where drug culture is infiltrated every culture, and it ruined a lot of people. It didn't completely ruin it, but it's damage to our youth. Case in point, Sean Gathright, the kid who killed. See, he could have done a lot of other shit. He could have took his time to his education, and shift the narrative of the people that he was hanging with. He could have took the opportunity to be around these people and steer them in a different direction. But he's a weakling. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, weaklings make big differences. See, Sean Gathright was one of the 5 people who conspired to kill Julio. And his play in everything was he was a shooter. But not only was he a shooter, he was a person that was connecting, you know what I mean, with the other people as far as the stalking, finding out where he was, having a getaway car, having firearms, catches, and all types of shit. He really thought he was solid snake. But guess what? Sean Gathright got a sentence of life without the possibility of parole before he even reached 21. A lot of his first experiences is going to be in prison, and y'all know the ones I'm talking about. I want to go back and watch this video, and y'all can listen again. Sean Gathright talked about how he felt as far as receiving his sentence.
I believe it is cruel for someone under the age of 21 to be sentenced to life without parole or death before they're even old enough to be fully emancipated or to fully comprehend what consequences their actions carry. I say all this because I want to see change. Change for those whose fates were sealed long before they were born. Change for the prodigal sons and daughters who ventured off too far in the world and got lost. I believe that I am exactly where God planned for me to be, and that He created long before I was born. It's also my belief that this chapter of my life will everything for a much greater purpose. I'm just here today because my journey has just begun.
See, now this nigga wanna make a change. It's too late. Now he believes that it's cruel for someone under the age of 21 to be prosecuted to the fullest extent without them really understanding what they're going through. Because he's angry. Now he wants to save himself. But the other point is, I'm pretty sure Gaffrey Bones, his grandparents, his sister, they might have not known everything he was doing, but trying to steer him in the right direction. Now, he was also fucking crazy. Now, just follow the people who go for yourself and listen to what young motherfucker was rapping. Say, I'm going
Here's the thing with AI agents. They call LLMs, they execute tools, they can run for minutes, even hours, but what happens when something fails partway through? You lose everything. You're starting from scratch, and you're rerunning expensive operations. Take this example here where I'm asking an agent to tell me about recursion, and I kill the agent. It's lost all its conversation history. This is why I've been playing around with the OpenAI Agents SDK.
I recently been talking a lot about the consequences of the case being death or jail. Because I have a lot of friends who've not only spent a lot of time in prison, but friends who are in prison for the rest of their lives. And I have conversations with these people and had conversations with them for over 20 years. And their conversations is, you never know when life is going to bring you tragedy. And when it does, don't handle it the worst way possible. The worst way possible would be to react emotionally. Or to just do things out of spite. Or to just do things without really taking it in. Sean Gathright, and I'm watching these clips because I want to establish his character. See, while he tried to play the innocent, person on the stand, he was innocent by no means. He had his accountability in the death of Fulio. See, he wanted to live.
You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be fucking kidding me, bro. Like.
They think they're playing a game until they hear that. Banging that judge say, yeah, life without the possibility of parole or death. Is that only seen on jerseys? That's what I'm ready for. Watch another video from Sean Gathright. That's what he's doing.
That's crazy.
Potentially, it's not nothing he thought he'd be looking towards in his life.
Yo, that is insane, bro. That's insane. That's fucking insane. I don't know why it's taking a sweet ass time. Like, come on, bitch.
Really appreciate all the messages and all the comments and likes and shares and donations. It's definitely understand. It truly means a lot in a difficult time like this. We all know that God has the last word, and I just really appreciate y'all for seeing me in a different light. Y'all will be hearing from me soon. Like I said, I just have to get out of the environment. Take a couple days, but I appreciate y'all. I love every single day, y'all. And yeah, that's it.
See, this dude was talking like he was some sort of celebrity. What he didn't realize is that when you get behind that wall, there's more accountability that you gotta face. And it's now being reported on a lot of these blog sites that's coming out of Florida that he done got pulled up. In particular, put up this picture of him, and it says pull through, and we put up a bunch of knife emojis and put laugh out loud, LOL for long live 6. Then another one posted, and it says, get up, ghost, don't die. Rest up 6, right? And there's another one, and it says rest up 6 with a knife emoji. This is what they don't talk to y'all kids about. Once this crime, I know, like that y'all know. But y'all don't see it. It says only spinning, stepping,
Oh my fucking god, bro. Oh my fucking god, my nigga, yo.
Take that spot. Now, Sean Gathright, and it's also reported that Rashard Murphy, one of the Murphy cousins, was potentially established for a tough situation that they're both in. It's caused by their own doing. It's not as if they didn't commit. They know that this was going to be the outcome. I don't know they didn't. Motherfuckers is not thinking about the day that they going to be in jail today, and somebody might run up on them. Like, they thinking about just being outside in the free world. And this is we gotta have more conversations with the youth, because the youth are crazy in this defense. They think as if the stuff is gonna made was theirs, and they think as if the biggest stuff is like when I hear people say, "Yeah, we stepped into it," and I see all of y'all got recipe shirts and tattoos, and y'all doing things for this person, that person. It's a mutual situation. It's not exclusive to y'all. Nobody had
Chilling, bro.
That's why we gotta do more to get the kids away from this. Because Sean, yeah, right. Could have been something that contributed to society. Could have been something that contributed to his family tree. It's just
bullshit, bro.
She said that her kids love Sean, and they keep talking about Sean is the kids.
When I get hit, that's crazy. Like,
on the other side, everybody that came up there for Rashad and Davion, they was in jail.
oh man, Jesus, I hate this fucking game, bro.
To take care of these kids, but they didn't. Rashad's baby moms, she testified about his character and said that he would never leave his children, let alone she was in jail herself. See, when you start saying stuff like, "Oh, he would never leave," you can't do nothing. You were sentenced to prison for life. They were sentenced to prison for life.
Fucking God, yo.
It could be over in a matter of seconds. Wrong situation. Now, Sean Gathright, if he does pull through, has a long road ahead of him. Check in PC, brother. Don't listen to Young Thug and don't listen to Boosie. You was not a gangster. Go check in the PC and go live your life. Yeah, go be out the way of general population. And go walk the yard with the people that can't live with the others. Because now you're seeing what that street shit is actually about. This video, if it reached any of y'all, yeah, I got brothers, cousins, sisters, nephews, nieces, whoever, anybody that's young in this youth, y'all direct them in another direction. Can y'all tell me how y'all feel? Is this just well deserved? Is this that everybody talks about? Comes for you, this type of shit. This is not doing myself for the ones that rock with me. Now we're doing for the ones that don't. Actually, this audio is brought to you.
At this point, you're probably not avoiding therapy because of stigma. You're probably avoiding therapy because you've become very good at coping. So good that you stop noticing how heavy everything feels.
That's some fucking gay shit,
It's important to remember that your mind and body hold on to every stressor you don't have time to process. That stress shows up as exhaustion, irritability, shutdown, feeling overloaded in a way you just can't explain. Therapy can help you start
the bouncer back over there. Like, why? Why the fuck would you do that?
You answer a short questionnaire about your goals, preferences, and needs. BetterHelp reviews your responses and matches you with a therapist that fits what you're looking for.
Finally, fucking bullshit, bro. 1,000 fucking times.
Many clients report meaningful symptom improvement within 12 weeks of consistent sessions. If you want to walk into 2026 with less mental weight and more clarity, therapy with BetterHelp can be your starting point.
As I recently covered in my video, Young Boy, Real Killer or Fake Gangster, the huge popularity of this Louisiana native has brought an unprecedented amount of attention to his hometown of Baton Rouge, the capital of the state, with fans of gangster rap becoming fascinated by his violent portrayals of the raging gang war in the city that had previously been largely invisible to the rap scene. besides a few other local talents like Boosie, who unfortunately ended up losing much of his career to the notorious Louisiana prison system. Generally, Baton Rouge has been overlooked by mainstream followers of gangster rap in favor of cities with more famous gang cultures like Chicago and Los Angeles. As a result of numerous cases and a lengthy period restricting him to house arrest, since 2020, Youngboy has been mostly staying out of Baton Rouge after catching numerous cases in the city and in other states. So, as a result, for the past few years, Louisiana's most wanted rapper is actually living a calmer family life in a luxury Utah mansion while recording tons of music throughout his house arrest. However, while Youngboy has been gone, enjoying the safety of house arrest in Utah, the gang war on the streets of Baton Rouge has continued to escalate, make lives, record-breaking murder rates, making the city seem completely out of control in recent years, with those rates peaking in 2021 when the city experienced its deadliest year.
Baton Rouge has a gang problem.
Based on our conversations with our intelligence first responders and our truth initiative, we have around 8 groups of gangs that are actively we've been engaged in violence in the city. With 3,100 felony arrests, 355 juveniles, and we've seized more than 1,366 firearms.
And if that wasn't bad enough, the Baton Rouge Police Department's Street Crime Unit has recently come under fire for serious claims of corruption.
The latest investigation into Baton Rouge Police, 4 officers facing charges of corruption in connection to a beating and tasing incident.
Even being accused of torturing suspects in a secret warehouse labeled the Brave Cave.
After lead investigator Scotty Hunter and the WFBI team exposed allegations of police misconduct in a secretive garage called the Brave Cave.
In short, the gangland of Baton Rouge seems like a deadly hellscape that anyone would surely escape if given the chance. Unfortunately, despite all of the money, fame, and opportunities that Youngboy's many affiliates from his NBA and 4K trade crews now have at their disposal, their deep roots in the city's violent underworld continues to make them prime targets for violent attacks. And as the years have gone by, a whole new generation of street-affiliated youngsters have come up out of Baton Rouge, hungry to prove themselves both in the streets and in the city's now buzzing rap scene. Success in the rap game could well be their ticket out of the war zone, if only they're able to get out before it's too late. And sadly, one of the brightest stars to come out of the city since Youngboy, an 18-year-old aspiring rapper named True Leader, would end up losing his life right when he was about to make his breakthrough in early 2022. His tragic fate stems from events that took place during the deadly year of 2021, when an all-out war broke out between 2 factions, taking place in both the streets and in music. So today, we're going to take a closer look at the deadly war that's still raging in Baton Rouge today since Youngboy left the city behind. We're going to work out why this overlooked city really is one of the most dangerous places in America to be a rapper.
Baton Rouge has a gang problem.
Although crime knows no age, the number of juveniles arrested for violent crimes is skyrocketing, leaving us with one question. How did we get here?
Police have identified the 2 people killed in yesterday's drive-by shooting near the mall, Louisiana.
Yeah, sure.
Can I go home after you take them on the AR-15?
And we've learned that there is no simple or single answer.
Over the course of this program, we're going to take you into the streets and to the neighborhoods to figure out the root cause of what is behind all of this.
Mademoiselle, we have a problem with the woman's touch. Unquestioned supply and demand.
True. We are in short supply in New Orleans.
No, I meant raw materials.
Hey,
Tobacco,
did you know you could get a big cash payout if you were in a car accident up to 1 year ago, even if you weren't driving? Just for being around this video to see how much you can get.
One needs a certain charm, grace, and status to move in his
We're beginning to get used to
Our
God.
manufacturer a reason to pay him a visit.
Before we get the video started, I want it to be clear and known, not only to the viewing audience, but also to the YouTube algorithm and the person that inevitably may be watching this horizontal movie process. This is not me encouraging, condoning, praising, or anything of the nature in regards to any violence that we do. This is just a commentary, criticism, and my critique of the nature of this person in question and the actions that were done. If anything, this is condemning, not condoning. This is disapproval, not dedicated content to the action.
But just simply, I have a mother, I have a mom, I have sister. I have two sisters, a little baby, and that's not 100%. There's no evidence of me literally, you know what I'm saying, hitting a girl or anything like that. Me and my ex joke about it, whatever things, but I'm not that type of person. Literally. You know, my mother always told me what you do in the dark will always come to the light. The crazy thing about the internet and the digital age that we live in is that everything recorded is stored. That's the college video you have where you have makeup on that you saved on Snapchat. And if you have a video where you being slapped a woman, best believe somebody compared on TV. Best believe it. So the past weekend, Shane Frost was actually just like others at first when they seen this video thought that it was some sort of skit or prank, and I thought to myself, man, this is the lowest low scoops that anybody can go to. I understand prank culture on the internet and it kind of holds no bounds, but in the big 2026, pranking about hitting a woman should not be a thing. But then the video of the argument that led up to this incident came out, and I knew for a fact this guy's hooked. What are we gonna talk about?
Endpoints from phones to desktops to servers make scaling growth possible for everyone. But every mismanaged endpoint introduces risks, efficiency challenges, and operational overhead. IT should feel like a maze of devices, tickets, alerts, and disconnected tools demanding immediate attention. Ninja One unifies IT to simplify work. One platform to manage, protect, and support endpoints in one place. Reduce spend, boost resilience, and minimize user friction with Ninja One.
Meet Runnable, the AI platform that turns vision into reality. Describe it, watch it build, make it yours, plan, create, expand from a single idea to a product people can't live without. From something only you can see to something the whole world uses. This is what creation looks like. There are no limits.
It's good, bro.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna take my hair out. I'm gonna jump up here. Alright, I'm gonna show you. Amir not gonna touch me, shit. Amir gonna have to shoot mama.
Listen.
You don't mess with my camera. Ain't nothing about that. I'm working here. This is for you. Don't ever think me. I'm not one of them. It's 8 bitches on this yacht. How you want to choose me out of everybody? Why me?
Shane Frost and the young lady involved got into an argument because she did not want to have sex with him. He said that may line up with the evidence that she was really aggressive demeanor, which we'll get into a little bit later in the video. But never did I ever think, or did anybody ever think, that this would cause him to place hands on her.
her help, let alone insane threats about getting physical with one another that they were going into. One thing I will say about the internet is something that I've always shared is that we have the ability to see both sides of the story. The situation happened some time ago, and now we have video evidence of the young lady telling her side of the story. And some of what she said is corroborating some of the rumor mill that is out there about Deshae Freaky Frost and his inability to control his ego, his desires, and what ultimately would lead to him placing drugs on her.
Like, a lot of the girls that were on the show, they had sex with Deshae. I never had sex with him. He wanted to have sex with me. I didn't want to have sex with him. The night before the video that's going viral right now, I came home with a friend because he told me the night before I would be on the road. I would go downstairs to the bathroom, so all the girls would go upstairs and I'm standing with him. So he told me that. So the other girl like, so he was like, have sex with me. I'm going to need you all to like keep me with y'all. Like, no, she's not going to be upstairs. Like, the day to go come, we go through the plan. He peeped the plan. He's mad as shit. Like, they're trying to keep her out here. I'm going to go stuff. So it's like, it's like doing his and he been I told the girls, like, he's Succeeding to Deshae Frost on stream countless times, pressure young women into sexual encounters and interaction over and over and over. And this time he took it way, way, way too far and decided to place hands on her. We're on stream, this is what he basically does. He gets these young female famous content creators or whatever they may be, try to seclude them in different areas, get them inebriated as much as possible, and then attempt to press them. And the sad part about this is we've seen this play out in real time. Now we're getting the full scope as to what he is capable of. If this video did not exist, I wonder how people would even be handling any sorts of conversation about that stuff. If he didn't come out any sort of, people are already questioning why this young lady didn't press any charges, or why she didn't speak out about this, or why nobody took this more seriously. I would go as far as to say it's because the internet doesn't take these situations more seriously. Even with rap sheet,
Mademoiselle
I don't think anybody would say, you know what, it's really
trade burst with corruption.
How unseemly. And the enemy is to blame?
Yes. The senior textile, Mr. Chaperon, keeps prices tightly knotted.
I'll sew this up as quickly as possible.
I'm not in favor of that, and I know I'm joking. I say, oh yeah, the girl didn't have or something like that, but no, those are jokes. Like, I'm really being serious. Never put your hand on that. I can't just literally walk away. You have to just walk away because I'm better than anything else to do. I'm just in a situation which I'm pretty in. As far as I want to say is, I will never, ever put my hands on a girl who's never put their hands on me.
One of the reasons why I waited to make this video is because, one, I kind of had some other things that I had lined up. Two, usually when you attack a creator like this, there's armies of people that come after you and try to get your channel packed up and clapped and stuff like that. But this one, I don't think there's any defending this. And three, I really did want to wait to hear what Deshae had to say. I don't know why, but I really felt like this was some sort of clip farm and skit. You know, demented as it may be, I know that content creators and streamers are money hungry, view hungry, all these other things. So they would go as far as to do something like this. We talked about it maybe a video or two ago. These red catches that are going on. I think this would be another example of that. But as I see the contradictions that lie in this apology video that Deshae Frost put out just last night, it made it become abundantly clear, oh, this man is not only a liar, not only egotistical, but a narcissist. In this video, Deshae goes back and forth about whether or not it's okay or not okay to hit a woman. And when telling of the tale, he says it's never okay to hit a woman in any circumstances, any conversations, anything that happens. You just walk away. And then at the beginning of the video, he talks about it's okay as long as she puts hands on you first. The problem with this video, with this encounter, this interaction, because we have a good amount of these things that we never see this young woman put her hands on Deshae first. In the video where they are arguing to the city, he tries to put his hands on her multiple times in that video with no physical action from her and with continued threats and then ultimately physical action from Deshae.
This is toxic for some people. I am a track record of doing
this to women and doing this type of shit to women, no matter what they're trying to put in their neck on see.
Number two is that Deshae Frost said that he doesn't have some sort of track record of doing this type of stuff to women. And for what it's worth, on video, I have never seen him put his hands on a woman before. Besides this, they talk about a track record of harassing, both sexually and non-sexually, and jokingly, quote-unquote, threatening. I don't know about you guys, but I don't jokingly threaten. Especially now, I just don't understand that. There's an apology, raising its feminist tropes that creators always do. Get things on religion as a way to hurt strings of the audience.
It's just another thing. Oh my God, is showing me things that I need to maybe sit down and see things and try to work hard and working hard and working better for this look at. I take full responsibility. I apologize. I take accountability for the things that happen, and all I can do is move on from it.
In his conclusion, he talks about how he's been through so much on the internet, but with the help of the community and his support, he always bounce back.
You gotta push through and keep going. That's pretty much what it is. I feel like you guys know I've been doing a lot of shit on the internet, a lot of shit on the internet, all these things. And this is another thing that you push through and keep going and keep driving. And yeah, it's a moment that I'm not really proud of.
Yeah, as a kid, I would to swear his name. Just like other content creators who have been through situations like he's onlookers that seemingly support him, seemingly love him, seemingly respect him, into believing that these are all one-off incidents that he is sympathy, that he is somebody who should have this retribution from a community that has watched him and supported him for a long time.
Don't ever put your hand on it. And if you can't, just literally walk away. You have to just walk away because that's better than anything else. And you don't want to put yourself in a situation which I'm currently in.
As y'all can tell, y'all probably seen Shay's vlog and y'all seen him taking shots at the arcade place. Over there taking shots or whatever. I took like maybe 3 shots. I was done. So we made a picture short, we left. And when y'all see that we have to do it, we got to make a still. He just kept telling me take shots. So I was taking my shots. I was like 3 or 4 shots at that. Shots. And I'm lightweight. So for me to this, I'm literally black. Like, I'm not black. So I remember I just went back through after there. And I was thinking back, I was like, the shit in the bag with all with flexing it. This is how I'm really overthinking. Like, it was just like a thought.
Future masters.
They would write this. I take my shoes off at the front door and I remember nothing else. Waking up in the Shay's bed naked. So have the evidence, all these different things like that. Now, with that being said, where there is smoke, there is fire, and that's what I don't understand about the internet and society today. People think that a simple apology is enough for forgiveness, but the way that I operate, and a lot of people who operate in the same fashion, once you have a pattern about yourself, then ultimately a duck is a duck. If it climbs like one, and if it eats from somebody's home, there are multiple videos describing Deshae Frost's abuse and alleged abuse of women that he streams with. Beyond the young lady that he did in the book with his footage, there are also a ton of videos that make the same claims just as these things also spill into his own camera persona for that time in which he went to Target and decided to aggressively want a young woman who was in Target.
I'm not gonna lie, bitch, you look good as fuck. I'll fuck you right now. Can I get your number and shit when we talk? No? Hell yeah. Bitch, you look good as fuck.
I won't know what it is.
Get
There's
them!
this
Get
whole
them!
attempt to garner
Let's kill them! Get them! Hard!
in order to sway them to be back on his side.
I just want to be sorry though. Just really want to get into the content. People's stories and people's stories are in the like you do what you're supposed to do as a brother, like have a conversation. I heard that, I'll do that. You know, I'm sorry, I'm just more things sorry for me out there, you know what I'm saying, especially from a stranger. He's here to see my son to the bottom. Definitely learn from that for sure. And I definitely, yeah, what else? Yeah, she's 20 years old. She's 20 years old. She got 14 or whatever. I don't know why. TikTok trying to make it seem like it was so crazy.
When you take on a volume job, the right tool makes all the difference. With Folio, setup is fast and organized. Upload your subject lists, and galleries are created automatically. No more manual sorting, no more wasted hours. Whether it's 20, 200, 2,000 subjects, Zenfolio helps you scale your business without having to scale a team. Handle large schools, restaurants, effectively and efficiently, with workflows designed for real demands. Offer your clients professional level products at mid-rate.
To make his name better after these situations. During the same time of the young lady Target break incident, she even got advice from Justin saying that he should just please his name and stay away from all pro content and not be associated with women anymore. Just on camera, so we see him really
Aveline, you have returned.
I find it quite ironic that he even televised this, what seems to be a genuine conversation from Constant Nat, trying to get him to understand that you are towing on a certain line and you are portraying an image where people will start to give you labels that are hard to be predatory, labels that have people time to abuse you. The fact that he was willing to talk about that is very content brain and there's something that's not so it would make sense that inability to control himself. He was going to go to Kick in order to continue to do girl content because that's what the Shay Freaky Frost is. I don't want to get banned because the shit that's going to be happening is going to be some freaky shit. I don't want to get banned. I talked to my Twitch friend, and she said there's a chance you're going to get banned. She said, you know, this shit online, man. We can do that shit and do more shit. As long as you're going to get lit, put it and do that shit. So I said, yo, talk to him. I'm like, man, fuck it. And so all these jokes to me is that this is why people is their leaders who is power hungry and who is flying too close to the sun. Somebody continuously puts himself in these situations what sorts of backlash and what sorts of things that he may face. And we have to ask ourselves, why is he putting himself in this situation? He received 2 strikes on my channel. 1 warning strike, which is basically a strike with no penalty, and 1 actual strike, which is a strike that stops you from uploading for a week. And if you get another 2 within 3 months, the channel is pretty much over. So January 1st, 2025, I released a video titled Shay Frost Had a Huge Problem. We're going to take a deep dive into Shay Frost content on his YouTube and Twitch, and the overall point of the video is to redeeming his content, pointing out the fact that do any to go look at Shay's content from his past, from his present, and use it as an example of why you shouldn't value viewers over everything else, because those views will drive you to do weird things. And after the video was doing fine, many people saw it, many people reacted to it, Shay reacted to it, and he didn't like the video. So him and his audience decided to massacre the video on Twitter. You're video! This is fascinating! This is me. You can't just send your audience to go and record a video because you didn't like the video that was calling you out for doing the weird things that video from Table Show Camera came out about a year ago where she highlighted the fact that when she spoke out about Shay Frost, he was packed up, given 2 warnings on his YouTube channel, 2 strikes on his YouTube channel, 1 away from having his channel marketed. It highlights the fact that there is a place in which Shay Frost manipulated in order to have to be mass reported and gain some strikes. Cameron will put out another video talking about Shay Frost, and underneath that same exact video, Shay Frost himself even came and commented that this video was somehow disappeared too. And if you go back on how she framed Shay Frost video, talking about that same incident, either be a details or a critique of the target incident, you will find, and I can tell you why, it's because she will do the same exact thing as well, and it's not about other peers in the commentary space. What I'm trying to highlight in the background here is there is a favoritism issue. All these things are true, but this system that enables the behavior from other Shay Frost, not just controlled by viewers and YouTube, that are just taking these mass reports and then going out punishment as they fit, although I wish they would a better job, navigating these things. It is what it is when it comes to this mix. What I'm referring to is the omniverse and the viewers of Sincere Emotions. Your favorite creator of the video season isn't even the Shay himself. It's too many concepts of the social. You know that he is a very extensive, very engaging, nuanced content. Pressures going to treat, try to force him in these situations, humps them, fakes head, and proceedings past weekend. He won't go as far as to place hands on this should have some ability that far exceeds commentary videos on YouTube. There are fans who have decided to take matters into their own hands and say that, hey, we're going to scrub these things. We're not even going to let people critique him fairly because we want this guy to succeed, even though he continuously puts women in the Shay Frost didn't even this for the streaming. Most of it, especially the viral ones, are about him and women doing some sort of sexual endeavor and harassment. It's okay for somebody calls him or says that people flock to defend to the point where they doing these sexually deviant things because there's always going to be somebody there to forgive him. And as far as to each and every video that comes out with an apology, he mentions God's and surrounding him, manufactured or created by his own doings, I guess, and then this is over and right action, and then ultimately he'll end back up in that same cycle and same, but the same audience carrying that notion. I just challenge the internet that at some point when it comes to these content creators and the streamers, especially the ones that are doing now criminal actions on camera, you're gonna you have your own definition of grace and that without, but I would just ask everything will you change?
Every story begins with an idea. Sometimes it's celebrating forever. Sometimes it's celebrating life. Sometimes it's running a business. Sometimes it's finding your voice. Whatever your story, it begins with a single idea. At Bar Robin Studios, simply tell us your story. Our artists transform it into original lyrics, custom music, and unforgettable.
it's getting ended up, and you keep forgetting that. And when I found out who that person was, you're done, okay? And it's getting ended up, and you keep forgetting that. I got fucking people. I got managers, I got fucking people. I got people like for Twitter. And yes, I know your location wasn't up late.
Like, how low person you have to be to use cancer to clickbait to get impressions? You know how much of that challenge you have to be to use cancer to clickbait for impressions? Like, that's sad. It's weird. Like, you have to just, like, actually, like, I raised money for breast cancer because of my mom had breast cancer, and for a page to just, like, use that just to get impressions, and not only that, but lie about it to get impressions. It's so weird.
Since the monetization of content, we've seen nasty creators do nasty things in order to boost viewership. Clickbaiting is the phrase that started it all, but now this has just turned to rage bait / fake news / disgusting clip pages, putting out fake captions in order to entice viewership, in order to get those 2 cents off effects. The lies, the false narratives, all used to confuse an audience and ultimately galvanize a collection of people against a certain creator in order to do 2 things: prop up a different creator and make those pennies. And we're here to look at how damaging that stuff can be to the entire ecosystem as a whole. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Us unemployed have got to stick together. Think of it as a gift from you to me during this holiday season. Now let's get back to the video. Just a month ago on this channel, we talked about how these clip pages have gotten out of control and how this behind the scenes component in the streaming industry that people were taking seriously would be the downfall of the streaming world.
Some drama, you got a cake or a steak logo on that one. Do your research. I will now be suing every clip that is posted about me that is with a snake logo that's out of context to try to get hate on a situation that is not even happening, and then I see all these idiots in the comments, Lacey this, Lacey that, how could Lacey do this? It's not real. Oh no, one thing I hate is your law TikTok, and it's a false ass caption that did not happen, and everybody believes it. Yes.
I needed some inspiration for how to wear them, so I asked ChatGPT to help me. It was so useful to brainstorm how to wear them for different occasions like work, going out, running errands, and date night.
Designing highly available applications can be challenging, but the best engineers have a secret weapon. It's an open source platform called Temporal, and I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so you're a back-end engineer. You've got to build reliable applications in an unreliable world. These days, that means distributing them across multiple servers. Congratulations, that makes you a distributed systems engineer. Better study up on leader elections, consensus algorithms, and state machine replication. But there's an easier way. Temporal. Here, I'll show you. I've got a temporal application written in Python that moves money between bank accounts. For this demonstration, it's running on 4 Raspberry Pis. Now, I didn't write any code to make it highly available, but as you'll see, it will keep on running even if 3 of those 4 machines fail. See that in action. I'll submit 5,000 requests. Let's say we lose this machine because of a power outage. And this one annoyed the system administrator too many times. Just when we thought it couldn't get much worse, we got zealous house by the data center. But guess what? Every time you lost a machine, the remaining ones took over for it automatically. It never lost any data. The application is still running, and will eventually finish the work on the one machine that survived. As of this time, there's just one reason why the best engineers choose to create it. Follow the link below to get started with it today.
And somehow since that video, especially with all the drama that's been going on in the streaming world, this problem has just gotten worse. It's no longer used to spread these fake narratives and storylines, but ultimately it's ruining the careers of these content creators and hurting their relationships with other streamers. Now, typically when you see these types of pages, you think of the big guys, the Feared Bugs, the Ryans, these guys just acting as the CNN or MSNBC type of pages for the streaming / internet entertainment industry. Real credible places in spaces to get news about what's going on. No funny business, no gimmicks. But the industry has changed. Elon Musk introduced monetization on X. TikTok introduced, the creator rewards program that rewards you for getting a bunch of views. And all this ultimately means is, hey, we need to get as many views as possible to our different platforms. And for what it's worth, and I can honestly say this sitting on the side Drake's commentary YouTube videos is that rage bait, negative stuff, anger baiting, all those things like that generate more views than positive stuff. Hell, even if it's not 100% true. So now there's in it for these platforms to make fake stories in order to spread these different narratives, because ultimately views equal dollars, whether it be from a platform or from outside sponsorships. The most recent example that I can think of is this Kai Cenat Gigi breakup situation. The story was related that Kai Cenat's ex-girlfriend Gigi started cheating on him with NBA YoungBoy of all people, and that's the reason why she broke up with him or he broke up with her. Another sort of allegation was none other than DJ Academics, but the problem is that DJ Academics never said any of these things.
Some rumors going around that Kai Cenat's girlfriend Gigi is cheating on him with NBA YoungBoy via DJ Academics on his live stream. Now, y'all want to know the truth about this? Because I got all the details. Tell us. I got 4K proof. Now let me stop. I got 4K proof. Here's the thing, Chad. This is not true. And bro, I just want to tell y'all this, man. I know all y'all be loving Kai, whatever. And this is why I realized, like, yo, me and Kai, we've talked, not recently, but like, we've talked multiple times, just offline and shit like that. And when y'all love a nigga, y'all be just attacking other motherfuckers no matter what. Bro, how I get caught up in a group chat?
What's interesting in this situation is that DJ Academics goes on in that monologue to talk about how he streams to a massive amount of audience. And due to him streaming to a massive amount of audience on an annual basis, you would think that there was some sort of clip that would support these claims. But ultimately, there never was. He just took this and ran with it.
Academics reported that Kai Cenat's girlfriend Gigi is cheating on him with YoungBoy. And I said it on a live stream that I stream to 15,000 people every night. 15,000 people. And there's not one video clip of me saying this.
Yeah.
And people are running with it. Yo, said this. Bro, come on, man. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. I look at my DM. It's all the wide linebackers, all the big back chicks from Shade Room. They're threatening to kill me. Yo, Kai, you gotta put a statement out, gang. Please.
Academics isn't a squeaky clean church mouse, and we'll get to him in just 2 seconds, but it's amazing the things that a lie can do to the people that are involved in it. We're not just talking about this affecting these academics. And Kai Cenat took to Twitter to report that he was single and never going to be in a relationship again. This story picked up headwinds. So much so that it seemingly impacted Gigi, his ex-girlfriend, when she came to the internet and posted her comments about the situation. She said, and I quote, "You want to get on the internet and rush to paint a false narrative about me off a fake Twitter post is insane. I never cheated on him, and you know that. I have never dealt with that man. Play that sympathetic role somewhere else, please." But Gigi, sweetheart, I'm here to tell you, Kai never ran with this narrative either. So now we have two people in an actual relationship, or what was an actual relationship, consuming this BS, this nonsense, and this slop, and it's ultimately dividing them further than where they were. Another problem with these lies is that once one lie happened, more lies get added onto that lie, only supporting it. Mind you, none of these things are attached to the truth at all. This tweet is talking about Kai Cenat revealing he had bought a house, a car, and was purchasing a $100,000 allowance to his girlfriend every single month, and then she proceeds to cheat on him with Kai Cenat's friend who has 13 baby mamas. What type of shit is this? And this tweet is currently sitting at 1 million views. Now, of course, there's a common theme in this situation. There's a blue check mark. There's bots in the comment section. She's responding to every single reply, simply because that's how you rack up engagement, aka dollars, on the platform. But at what expense? At what cost? Another common theme on platforms like Twitter or TikTok is the miscaptioning of already existing clips, meaning they take these clips that already exist in some way, shape, form, or fashion, chop them up for their own nefarious gain, and then put a caption that has nothing to do with anything that's going on in the clip. Because these streamers and content creators spend so much time online, they say anything that can be taken out of context. And because a lot of people don't consume these people's content on a regular basis, they're not going to notice the subtle differences.
Not see shit, bro. Not see nothing.
Everything just needs up to date because the content was published recently. Let's take a look at this clip. In the caption it reads, Dennis talks about the David situation. It says people should do their research before they make any conclusions. Nothing is confirmed. For those that don't know, David is the singer who is on the run for allegedly ending the life of his 15-year-old girlfriend. Now, David is somebody who is a legal adult, so this is a totally messy situation after her body was found in a Tesla. And let's listen to what Dennis has to say about the David situation.
It's so fucked up. I didn't see anything that we've been going through, and it ain't my business, so I'm not going to speak on what he should and shouldn't do. It's my biggest thing is that that's to be embarrassed. This is supposed to be his month, his week. The end of the end of his year supposed to be.
I am a filmmaker, a drummer, a creative, dialogue, later things undrawn, practice prose, fun, aesthetics. I am a 27. I always expected.
I love being able to work on a plane and then right outside the hangar I can watch it take off, and it's so rewarding. My experience at AIM was honestly great. The first thing that really stood out to me was when we got to tear down a turbine engine and rebuild it. That was when I realized I want to work.
So great and so happy. The internet
But the problem with that clip, and just like any of these other clips by some of these clip pages like DGen Clips, is that Duke Dennis is not talking about the David situation. Duke Dennis goes on to tweet, what's funny about this, I don't even know who David is. That's why I don't get on here no more, because everything on this app is fake and y'all believe it. If you watch that clip in the context of this video, it probably stood out to you that it was chopped up. It was interesting how there was no name explicitly said in the conversation. And, you know, it just didn't feel right. But for somebody who's consuming those clips on the internet, it can easily seem as though Duke Dennis is talking about the David situation. And that would ultimately make Duke be some sort of nasty, scummy person. And that's not just me believing it. As I scroll through the comment section of the video, that's exactly what they're saying. Now, since that tweet has been posted, and this is where I'm definitely holding these platforms accountable, Twitter has put a community mode on it. But ultimately, my question is, why is this not taken down? Why does this political flexibility, this information that's told by the community and is acknowledged by Twitter, get to continue to exist on the platform? Especially because Twitter has a baked-in Reel/short-form type system where you can scroll through them and not have to see that community note. It's easy to see how somebody can consume this and not read this warning label and still go on to believe that this person is disgusting even though it's been debunked. You're probably looking at this and asking, like, why would people even be going about doing this? Well, there's a couple of different reasons, and this is why I said Akademiks wasn't stopped for this. For one, it's to make a certain type of creator understand what they are. Some of it in an attempt to prop up their favorites, some of it because these are like kids who are just angry at a certain level of creator. I remember when Aiden Ross brought on Kick Champs, which is another one of those clipping platform pages, onto his stream. He literally said the reason why he does these sorts of things is because he hates Kai Cenat.
I post a lot of positivity. Don't, bro. All over my camera, bro. I think this guy is racist.
What? I was Kai racist?
Yeah, but where do you get that from, bro?
Nigga. What? That's the reason why you hate Kai? Because I'm not named B?
It's just like...
The monetization of content means that views are king. Even if it means you're loud, even if it means you're wrong, even if it means you're nasty, even if it means you're disgusting, getting people to click on your content, whether it be to hate, whether it be to love, is the ultimate end goal. Views are the end goal. So with that being said, content creators do whatever they can in order to get people to click. That way they get the engagement, and that way they get the money. And the second system that is built on top of that is the whole concept of being first to market in these situations means that even if I don't have all the information, I need to be one of the first people to get the information out. Recently, world-famous boxer Anthony Joshua got into a car accident, and DJ Akademiks, told you he wasn't squeaky clean, would take to one of his pages and tweet out some of the nastiest stuff in the world. 2 people lost their life in that tragic accident, and instead of doing his due diligence and waiting, Akademiks jumped the gun intentionally and said Anthony Joshua has killed 2 others in a car crash. And of course, because it was salacious, it got a bunch of engagement, it got a bunch of views. But because this was the wrong story, Akademiks got a lot of fire for it and had to end up redacting that sentiment and apologizing and acknowledging it on his live stream.
This incorrect information going around